A back and forth between Dangote Refinery and marketers over supply costs and availability has added to the confusion, with each side pointing fingers at pricing and quality. Now, the Dangote Refinery has clarified its petrol pricing, selling at 960 naira per litre into ships and 990 per litre into trucks. Now, this follows claims by the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, that's IPMAN, that Dangote's prices are higher than other suppliers. Despite Dangote's refinery, capacity to produce 650,000 barrels per day, marketers have not been buying the product. And the NNPCL has also continued importing petrol. The question is, will the Nigerian government find a solution to balance the interest of Dangote Refinery, fuel marketers and consumers to ensure affordable and quality petrol for its citizens? Now, to join us to speak on this, we have our studio guest. We have Femi Akinyemi. He's a coordinator, advocacy for integrity and economic development, live in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
Thank you, viewers. It's a pleasure being here.
And we also have Dr. Joseph Obele, his national PRO, Petrol. Thank you so much, Dr. Obele, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, first of all, let me begin with you, Dr. Obele. Now, your association had claimed that Dangote's refinery prices are higher than other suppliers. What were your thoughts after it revealed its price of petrol per litre, and how do you reconcile the discrepancies in prices and compare them to other suppliers?
Truth be told, Nigerians expected the commencement of production at the Dangote Refinery as a source of succor, as a source of hope for Nigerians. But when the price of AGO was announced about 7 months ago, I would say our hope was dashed. Before the commencement of production of AGO, that is diesel, at the Dangote Refinery, a week before then, AGO was selling close 750, 800 naira per litre. But when the production commences and started loading for marketers, it was 1,300, 1,400. And there was a serious uproar and a lamentation by Nigerians. How could it be? I've been issued before your commencement. We are buying it close 800 to 900. Then you come into the sector with so much hope. And it's still on record. The concession Dangote Refinery enjoy as regards direct or official access to foreign exchange is yet to be disclosed, and a lot of financial experts have argued that how come other competitors are unable to access direct official rate of foreign exchange, and he has it as a concession. So that can be an argument for another day. So in view of this, you shouldn't have come into the sector and you template your product on the parameter, your selling rate on the parameter of the international cost of the commodity in other markets. I'm aware that cost of production in the China market is different from cost of production in the American market. Hence, the same commodity will not be selling the same price in the Chinese market and in the American market. Reason because when you're doing your cost analysis, the basic component for ascertaining a price template could be cost of production plus margin. But in the press conference released by the spokesperson for Dangote Refinery yesterday, they stated that that templating is on the yardstick of measuring or comparison with their peers in the other international markets. And stakeholders are saying, no, that shouldn't be an issue. You don't tell me that prices of all commodities on all countries are the same. So to Dangote that enjoy so much of concession for as it concerns foreign
But Doctor,
exchange.
do you have an idea as to why the price is still that high, even at 960? Because I remember the excuse that was given the first time it was offloaded was that, it was bought in dollars, and after that following month, it's going to be purchased in naira and all that.
Let me drive you back history. since 35 days ago, Dangote commences operation of sales of PMS. Nigerians have been asking, how much is your selling rate? So there was this backward and forward between Dangote and NNPC Limited. NNPC has refused to announce how much Dangote was selling, and Dangote has refused to announce how much they were selling to NNPC. So until the press conference by Petrol, my body, where I represent, about 3 days ago, where we stated, because Petrol has incorporated a limited liability company called Petrol Trading Wing the trading wing of Petrol, and we have approached the NNPC for an authority to import, license to import. So we are aware from all the analysis we've done with our foreign counterparts and the rest that we'll be selling far lesser than whatever Dangote is selling at the moment. So arising from that, where we say we'll be selling far lesser than that, he was triggered to announce yesterday. So it was yesterday was the first time they mentioned that they were selling to vessels at 960 and selling to trucking at 990. That was yesterday. So we are saying, as we go forward and as Mr. President dismantle every form of monopoly in the sector and competition drives in, we are so optimistic that this product will be selling far lesser than what he's selling at the moment. But where I thought the publication done by the spokesperson of Dangote Refinery was that clause where they said their pricing template is a core factor of how much other international organizations are selling. Yeah. So we are saying, no, this is wrong. This is wrong. Your core factor to template your price will be cost of production plus a fair margin. For instance, if it costs, if it costs down with 600 naira as cost of production to refine a liter of PMS, and they add a margin of 100 or margin of 50, it's not bad. But they are saying, forget about our cost of production or margin, that we are selling straight in. I don't know if you understand the degree of that statement in that. They are saying, we don't care how much was our cost of production, but all we know is that we are selling at equivalent rate with our counterparts in the international market. And the economists are saying, no, this is wrong. Nigerians are saying, this is wrong. Having enjoyed so much of conception, I think patriotism should have been the core factor to determine the selling price here. But he is saying that he is selling based on how much he is selling in the international market. And we can agree with me
for
that events and indices and the dynamics of all the international markets are not the same. If you want to do comparison, how much PMS is selling in the international market, the pay package there, is it the same? The welfare package, is it the same?
Let's hear from our guest in the studio. Now, Femi, listening to what he said and the fact that, Dangote said its prices are benchmarked, against international rates to ensure competitiveness. Do you agree that, these prices are actually competitive? That's at the rate of 960 or even 930. And is it appropriate for Nigeria's unique market?
First is we thank God that Dangote for the first time has told us how much he sells, because they've been dodging right from time. And based the international price that Alhaji Aliko Dangote used in his Bloomberg interview was the Saudi Arabia price. He said Saudi Arabia was selling petrol, we were selling at about 30 or 40% lower than Saudi Arabia then. And when I went and fact-checked him, I saw that Saudi Arabia was selling at 2.330 Saudi Riyal, that's petrol, as a then per litre, which at 436 naira per 1 Saudi Riyal is about 1,015 naira. But he had forgotten that the price of diesel in Saudi Arabia is 1.150 Saudi Riyal, which is 501 naira in Saudi Arabia. And the price of kerosene in the same Saudi Arabia is 1.330 Saudi Riyal, which is 580 naira. So his own price of diesel, his own price of kerosene is far higher than what is in Saudi Arabia. And his price of petrol is the same with Saudi Arabia. So how come? And at the same time, when you look at it, the private sector in Saudi Arabia, the private sector, what they pay is 4,000 Saudi riyals to a worker in the private sector, which is about 1.7 million naira. Do we pay that here? We want to look at the issue of the poverty. The poverty rate of Saudi Arabia in 2021 was 13.56%. The poverty rate of Nigeria as of 2022 was 40.1%. And for God's sake, he is at a free zone area. He doesn't pay tax. Section 8.1 of the Nigerian Export Promotion Zones Authority gives him the opportunity not to pay tax. He doesn't pay tax, he doesn't pay levies, he doesn't pay anything. So how much is he really selling? How much is his cost of production? We did some analysis on the cost of production, and we saw that I used the University of Calgary. That's the university in Canada. They call this energy education. And when you look at the energy education, in every barrel of crude oil, you get 170 liters per 1 barrel. And out of that, 73 liters is petrol. About 40 liters is diesel. We have petroleum coke and a lot of other derivatives. That was why when Chief M.K. Abela, may so rest in peace, was being hacked during the presidential campaign in 1993, that what will happen when you become the president and they tell you that you must increase the price of petrol? He said the first thing I will ask is, what is the price of other derivatives that come from petrol? From those, you have about 14 derivatives. Gasoline, which we are talking about now, petrol is about 43%. Diesel is about 23%. Jet fuel is about 9%. Petroleum coke is about 5%. Heavy fuel oil is 4%. Liquefied refinery gas is 3%. Steel gas is 4%. Asphalt is 3%. About 12 other things you could get from it. So what is he telling us?
Okay, now let's come back to you, Dr. Obele. Now, you stated a few days ago that Petron's imported fuel would arrive at an estimated 800 naira per litre. Now, which is even less than, what Dangote is actually given at this time. Now, how can Petrol justify its pricing strategy, without compromising fuel quality?
You see, the permutation we've done and our strategies, we would want to expose it to the beneficiaries of monopoly because we fear their approach towards doing anything in grabbing the market in view of having monopoly. So we, as people that have value for Nigeria, we are people-centric. Basically, we are coming with a solution to the people of Nigeria. Petrol actually is an organization whose objective is basically the welfare of members and the protection of in businesses. But having seen the turbulences and the instability in this downstream sector, we were triggered to move into the trading wing, and we've done an analysis. Foreign refinery counterparts are on standby, the financial counterparts are on standby, but the barrier at the moment is just waiting for an import license. There is no marketer or any investor that can bring a litre or petroleum product for the international market without a duly licensed by the regulatory agencies. So hence we've approached the NNPC for an import license, and I think the next few days, having fulfill all righteousness as it concerns their requirement, I think they'll be rolling out this license for us. And our first, we believe that our first stock will arrive in Nigeria by December after our approval. And also we are further requesting that CBN, like they did to Dangote when it was during the construction, should give us a concession of accessing foreign exchange at the official rate.
But what will be a margin between, your cost and selling price?
As a body, I told you that we fear the manipulative approach of the beneficiaries of monopoly, and we don't want to review. We just announced 4 days ago that we'll be selling far lesser than what Dangote is selling. Arising from that, we've seen attacks year by day, him describing our forthcoming product as substandard. And he even mentioned in the same interview that an international refinery is trying to develop a blending plant in Lagos. And recall about 2 months ago, in one of his press conferences, he did mention that all that NNPC was importing to Nigeria and distributing to marketers are substandard. Also in that press conference, he also mentioned that the refinery at Malta that has been servicing Nigeria over the years was giving us a substandard product. All this wasn't really like a surprise. All the allegations wasn't coming as a surprise to we, the stakeholders and the critical stakeholders in the sector, because we are aware of his gimmicks in view of exploitative approach and his Red Sea approach towards competition operating, and so others to quit the business. But we thank God for Mr. President, his transformational agenda as it concerns dismantling and disapproving every form of monopoly. In every sector, you can take the telecom industry as a yardstick. Any sector, when there's intensive competition, prices are forced or triggered to experience a downward review. So we are saying that as against monopoly, we will support Mr. President. Petrol as a body will support Mr. President and other stakeholders to ensure that no persons enjoy monopoly in the sector. And also in the press conference we released this afternoon from our headquarters, Abuja, we did recommend that the only way to dismantle competition from this sector is by Mr. President in no distant time privatizing the Petrol Refinery and the Warri Refinery. Having borrowed $1.5 million from the Afrexim Bank for the rehabilitation and the revamping of the Petrol Refinery, it will be futility if not given to a reputable firm in partnership with other stakeholders as it concerns the privatization and the management of this Petrol Refinery. So we are recommending to Mr. President that the plant after rehabilitation should be handed over to a reputable firm that has the financial capability, that has the financial strength, and has the technical know-how, managerial skills to withstand the competition that will be posed by the beneficiaries of monopoly who are known to you and I.
All right, now let's hear from Femi. Now, do you support Dangote's claim that, you know, that buying lower than what he sells means buying substandard fuel?
How could that be? How did he know other fuels were substandard? So to every fuel that was coming in, he was picking a sample and testing it. And I saw the press release. It was saying NMDPRA, the regulator itself, does not have a laboratory. So it's the one who is producing as the one who has the laboratory. So he's going to regulate himself. So only his product is not substandard. Other products that prices go lower than his own are substandard. Who does that? That's the rabid monopoly. Even is not pretending. Anybody that wants to come up and say they want to import or even start anything that will be close to his own, that's the fight they had with Bua on cement. The same thing is happening with anybody who wants to come into Petrol now. But the problem is that it's pricing Nigerians out of existence. That's the problem. We can't afford what he's trying to sell to us. If he sells at 19 naira, so when it gets to petrol stations, how much do they want us to buy it? 1,100 naira per litre. The last time I heard that, we were talking of how much per litre does people consume per day in Nigeria. People are saying about 50 million litres. The last thing I thought, at least with Petrol or one of these others, they said, what is consumed is about 4.6 million litres per day. See the huge difference. That means people are in penury.
But even at that, some people seem to think that, you know, importing fuel while we have a local refinery is, you know, contradictory to Nigeria's energy sufficiency goals.
For God's sake, does that mean we should not live again? Because the Dangote came, then we must not live again? That is not it. Dangote was not meant just because to be there. It is meant to make us, the people, to feel the impact. It is not for us to send us into penury. That is not what we are talking about. If we want, for how many years have we not had a Dangote? There was no refinery. People were saying, oh, they were talking of subsidy. At the time, the NNPC said, the subsidy, it is NNPC itself that is even paying it. They stopped at the time from everybody, because during the time of GEJ, Jonathan, you had every dick and Harry looters picking up something there. And I don't know why that report has not seen the light of the day till today. The person who had a hand in the report and had a problem was Farouk Lawan, and he has just finished a jail term. So how come those who are known to have committed then, to have just, all they did is round tripping? They will bring in the same ship or do something, and they would exchange papers, and they will go and they will take subsidy. Where is that report today? No report, nothing whatsoever. Everything has died down. And the man who was said to have taken bribe, Farouk Lawan, has spent some time in jail. If that is true, we don't know. So where are we going?
All right, let's come back to you, Dr. Obele. Now, listening to what Femi has actually said, you know, about the NMDPRA lacking laboratory facilities, we want to hear from you. How do you ensure quality control in imported petrol, you know, considering this particular accusation in order to detect substandard products?
I want it to be on record that we in this organization, Petrol, Petroleum Product Retail Owners Association, in all our retail outlet locations nationwide, which is over 20,000, there is no member of our association that doesn't have the least hydrometer or an approach or some instrument of analyzing. There's no filling station that discharges or offload any product for sales to all or to the underground tank without doing let me say a preliminary approach to laboratory analysis in trying to ascertain the quality of product you want to sell to the general public, as it concerns the density, as it concerns the flash point, as it concerns the degree of water content in the distance. So it is done everywhere. It's done everywhere. So not just really Dangote having the best person. He may have a bigger or a mega kind of laboratory analysis, but there's no filling station in Nigeria. They're going to talk about a regulatory agency like the defunct DPRO. When DPRO was operating, most of us, most times when we have some crisis as concerns quality analysis, we do take our products to DPRO. Every state in DPRO have a lab, a location called a lab. So Dangote trying to announce to Nigerians that as big as a big organization, a national organization, as NNPC doesn't have a lab. I think it's not a surprise to us. It might be a surprise to journalists and the rest of Nigerians there on the street. But having known his gimmicks, and antecedents have shown that Dangote has never stepped his foot in any sector, and that sector has never caused, I think, a kind of strangulation or suffocation to operators of that sector in view of him gaining monopoly. And we are saying this is the last of his kind for him to suffocate others to gain monopoly in the petroleum sector, because this is the product that anchors or whose foundation revolves around every other price of any other commodity in the Nigerian market. You can see whatever happened to PMS affect logistics, affect the least product in the market, affects the manufacturing industry, affect the SMEs who are the basic drivers of any industry. It's quite unfortunate that focus is not really about the survival of SMEs in Nigeria. Hence, we are seeing a low degree of unemployment in Nigeria. The last index, as released by National Bureau of Statistics, have it that about 5.3 Nigerians are unemployed. Now, although a lot of persons have quoted that statistics, but this 5.3% further represent about 4 million Nigerians are unemployed. So adding further to it will not really be a good deal. So whatever affects the high cost of commodities in Nigeria, making it outrageous, affects SMEs, affects employment, affects the household income and everything. So even the impact of the high cost of PMS is being seen or reflected on the recent announced minimum wage. As people, a lot of persons are criticizing the minimum wage. It's not as if 70,000 is not a good pay, but arising from the fact that every other thing is on the high side on the market. Yeah. Hence, people have condemned the 70,000.
Dr. Obele, what about, you know, the international trading company that he talked about? You know, are you aware of any international trading company hiring a depot facility next to Dangote Refinery to blend substandard products for Nigerians?
There are a lot of approach and there are a lot of dimensions towards bringing the best value to Nigerians as it concerns prices. I told you, Petrol as a body, we are on the move too with our foreign counterparts. But good enough, he never mentioned if the international organization, trading company he mentioned, was that of ours. I think a lot of basic critical stakeholders in the sector are on the move with other foreign counterparts, and the foreign refineries have assured us that this product far better quality than that of Dangote and better pricing. We are right, Nigeria. Far, we use the word far. We have been advised in head office today never to mention the actual amount, because when we measure the actual amount, it will put them on their toes. So we want to take them by the surprise. But the truth be told, when our products arrive, it will sell far, and in view of that, they will be forced to reduce their price to the actual template and to the actual pricing ratio that the price should be. It is an error for someone to come to Nigeria and say, well, we have set our price for a local refinery in Nigeria. Based commodities can be classified in two dimensions. The one you're shipping out of the country, you can give it an international price, but what you're selling locally here in Nigeria. So we in Petrol, I told you we are people-centric. We are basically entering the market in view of alleviating the pains and the suffering of our people so that we can give people best value for this product called PMS. We frown at the rate of which PMS is selling at in the market at the moment. And hence we have come in to ensure we cause a reduction to that.
All right, over to you, Femi. Now, many are asking, why the much-anticipated Dangote Refinery hasn't brought down fuel prices. Now, do you think Dangote Refinery's production capacity truly impacts national fuel prices?
I don't get you. You mean with what is produced? We don't know what exactly. At the time, he said he's getting up to, they are revving up to about 450 to 350,000 liters. But I did some analysis when I was looking at the University of Calgary statistics. It was, I now said, okay, let's say 1 million barrels of oil. 1 million barrels will give you 73 million liters of petrol. And it will give you 40 million liters of diesel. And it will give you 15 million liters of jet fuel. Petroleum coke, it will give you 44,800 metric tons of petroleum coke. And when we looked at urea, which will as part of the past products, 17,040 metric tons will be taken. And at 250,000 barrels per day, which is about 4 days, 1 million barrels, a refinery operating at 250,000 barrels per day, we could do this within 4 days. And when we looked at the revenue that will come in, at the price that he is talking about, we arrived at a price of about 180 billion naira. And that is within 4 days. 180 billion naira. And I now looked at the price of how much do they sell crude oil. Statista in September said it was about $79. It was about $79.39. $75.39. And we now calculated that okay, if we are buying from here at 1,500 naira, looking at the exchange rate we used, and that was about 119 billion 850 million naira. So when you remove that, when you remove the cost of crude oil, and you now remove that from 180, it gives you 61 billion naira within 4 days. So what cost takes away 61 billion naira in 4 days? So what are we really talking? This journey that has come out of the bottle, they better pack it in so that people will not see their asses. And people will know that you are just putting Nigerians in a penury. It's gaining. If it sells at 500 naira, if it sells at 300 naira, we still get. I can confidently tell him that. Let him bring experts. Let experts talk about it. The other products, we've listed about 14 other products that could get out of it. He too said it. And he said that the Bonnie Light, he said it on Bloomberg that it produces at about 97% rate, capacity, the rate that it comes. So the things that may not be used out of it is about 3%. So when you get about 97% from that, and 250,000, at least 650,000 barrels per day, and they said they are revving up to 350. He told us on when he appeared at the...
And he did say that, he has 500 million liters.
Yes, he said 500 million liters. And he even said it himself. He said that 500 liters is about 500 billion naira. He said it. When he said it, I told people, I said, he has told you the amount of his petrol per liter. He said it's 500 billion. So if you have 500 million liters and you say 500 billion naira is what you are that is waiting there for you. So that is about 1,000 naira per liter.
So what are the implications of continued petrol imports alongside local production? How will it affect Nigeria's energy security?
If we, the Dangote, the refinery at Port Harcourt is there, let them do something about it, and the Warri refinery, Let others too, because there are some other refineries that I heard about the water, Smith and co. Let them be revved up so that they too can produce petrol. Give them what you are giving Dangote at the naira for crude. Give it to them too. So those who want to import that is not substandard, let them import. By the time everybody knows that there is nothing for you to hide, then everybody will sit up and will get to the right price and will get the security that we want to get. But because somebody wants to be wants to monopolize the whole market, when this one wants to bring his own, it is a substandard. If this one wants to produce his own, it is substandard. That is it. You should be the one there, and you'll be the one telling us how much you are going to.
You talked about Port Harcourt refinery, and we've been hearing stories of dates of when it's going to start functioning until now.
What we are saying is that Petrol and other Moman and co, let them go and meet with NNPC. Let them all meet. What is wrong? Let the government itself tell us what is wrong. NNPC now is a company on its own, is a limited liability company. So let them tell us how much exactly or what exactly is happening to Warri Refinery, Kaduna Refinery, and the Port Harcourt Refinery. They'll be telling us that they've been working on it. At the time, the EVP gas was talking, he said, oh, they are about to start, but they had some issues here and there. So let them start. Dangote too itself, when he started, he told us it was commissioned May last year, and he told us, oh, they are going to start giving us petrol immediately. But we didn't get petrol until September this year. So let's give them some time and let's see what happens. But every hand must be on deck, because we can't continue to pay 1,150, 1,300 per litre for petrol. It can't. We can't continue that way.
All right. Now, Dr. Ebele, let's have your final thoughts in 30 seconds.
Last paragraph of our press conference today, released to the Nigerian press, in the last paragraph, we are calling on Mr. President to midwife or to delegate a meeting with all the critical stakeholders that were involved, Pengasan, Nupem, MEMA, and DAPMA, IPMAN, and Petrol. And in this meeting, President will be able to harvest our industry knowledge and the values we bring from the field, because we are really in the field. And since 29th of May last year, when Mr. President made that statement that subsidy is gone, stakeholders have been calling for a meeting, and we have reinforced this meeting today also in the press conference. So we pray and believe that Mr. President will midwife or delegate a meeting with all critical stakeholders in view of we nailing this issue once and for all. It's only we because I can tell you, we really know what is happening in the industry. And want to have a meeting with Mr. President, or his authority, could be any other person. And this will bring the whole stuff to an end.
All right. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed and see what happens in coming days. Thank you so much, Femi Akinyemi, Coordinator, Advocacy for Integrity and Economic Development, for coming to the studio, and also Dr. Joseph Obele, National PRO Petrol. We appreciate you for your time.
Thank you for having me.